everyone. Well, I haven't done this for a while, but here I am today, showing off a flip through of my latest journal here, and I've named her Emmeline. I just think this beautiful image on the front here, well, she looks like an Emmeline to me, so I'm calling her Emmeline. The journal is A5 in size, so an A5 is half an A4. The cover is all lace, all layered lace here, and the back is one piece of lace. And the way I've layered the lace onto the cover, I've made sure that there is a pocket here, and there's a little smaller pocket there too. And inside the pocket I have a large tea-stained journal card here, beautiful picture on the front, and some ribbon, and I've also used this beautiful image and this one here, as I said, who I've named Emmeline. These gorgeous images and the images on the digital papers throughout the journal are from Christy at Everlasting Journals. I'm very fortunate to be on her design team, and this is my very first full journal using her beautiful kits. Christy is at Everlasting Journals, as I say. I will link it all below in the description box. She doesn't name her digital sets, she has numbers for them. I'm just trying to get this in as I'm talking to you, and I'm not doing it very successfully here. So I will link the numbers of each kit that I've used in the journal below. There's 3 different kits that I've used from her. As I say, I think there's only 2 or 3 pages in here that aren't Christy's digital kits, and I shall let you know. Okay, so let's go for it. There's 48 full pages in here, so 96 front and back, which is why she's turned out rather chunky, isn't it? So come on then, Emmeline, let's have a look through and show everybody what you've got. So when you open it up, this is what you immediately see. I have a full lace pocket here, and I've made the lace go front and back, so there's a lace pocket on the inside of the front and back covers. I have put a gold flower here and some gold leaves and a gold trim. It's kind of regal, this journal. I feel like it's got a bit of regal theme to it. Here is a postcard, embossed postcard, and I got this from Chapter 1 Papers, and they sometimes do an inspiration box, and I was fortunate to get my hands on one, and that was in one of their inspiration boxes. Some book paper and this beautiful vintage postcard of this lady here, and she's got like a green dress on, which I thought went perfectly with the card on the inside of the cover here. So that goes in there, and then the very first page is a digital from Christy at Everlasting Journals, and this image is on the paper, and I've just added a bit of collaging with some ruffle trim, piece of ribbon, and a gold star here. And that's the other side. I did some double side images. This one I think would be gorgeous hand sewn. A bit of embroidery on here. You could cut this bit off and make a tag out of it, and hand sewing following the lines of this vine. I think that would be beautiful. Now this one is not Christy's. I think this one is Ruby and Pearls with the flower on it, but I've only used 1 or 2, not many. All the rest are from Christy. I have a little belly band here using one of her images that I've cut out, green tulle, bit of that gold trim again, and I've made a journaling card, line paper, that's from Artie Mays, and I've backed it onto my own ledger paper here from my stash, and this image from one of Christy's papers, and a lace tab, so that just slides in there. Tea stained line school paper, vintage book paper, poem book there, another image. I put this photograph of this page on my Instagram post, and she opens up like that so that you can do some journaling on the back, and she's beautiful, isn't she? And I collaged her up here with a bit of lace and a sort of gem, gold gem there, and I thought that went lovely because she's got beads in her hair, and this lacy trim here, fancy swirly, reminded me of her dress, because if you look very carefully there's swirls in her dress, so I've used that kind of lace trim to match that. So that's her there, one of Emily's friend. Should we call her Florence? And the other side of that digital, this is not Christy's, and you can just do some journaling there. Ledger paper from my own stash, and I've just edged it with a bit of blue lace there. Tea stain page, torn piece of Christy's digitals to give it a bit of an edge, and I just love the colours. These 3 pages are gorgeous. That blue leading into the green and the blue leading into that green fabric ruffle there. That's an old tablecloth which I've torn and just sewn it into a ruffle piece there. On this tea stain paper you can see that I've tried to use some of my stencils to create some patterns on it. I need a bit more practice, but I am beginning to like the effect that it's giving. On this side I did put this image on my Instagram page, and it's the pocket, so I fussy cut one of Christy's digitals and made that into a pocket, and I made a tag within a tag. So this is a tag or a journaling card, and you can journal on the back, and that's the same image as the front, that's Emily, and I made a tag to go in behind her, so I stuck her on as a pocket, and then I just made a tag here to go inside using some of that same ribbon also that I put on the front. And now, as always, it won't go in when you're trying to do. Why won't they go back in? There we go. And here in the corner I just collaged it up with gold leaf and a bit of applique there, and she just slides in the pocket like that. This is a Woman's Encyclopedia page. This is from around 1912, the encyclopedias, and everything in them is all sort of themed around women, which is great. So I put that in there. Oh. And I've clipped to it on this side. There's a little tuck there, I folded it over and made a tuck, but these should be clipped in. I've got a scrap pad here, so bits and pieces left over, and I've made that into a scrap pad, and London College of Music heading paper there. So that just goes in like that. That one goes underneath into that tuck spot like that. That goes on the top, and then we just use the paper clip to keep that all together. Music paper here, which I've just collaged up using some fussy cuts out of Christy's paper. Her images are just beautiful. The colours, the blue with the rose, oh my goodness, they're just lovely, lovely. On the back of that music paper I turned it up to make a pocket again, which I've just collaged, and inside the pocket I've put a vintage bus ticket, the end tab from a cheque receipt, Blenheim House postcard, picture postcard, and a digital of a cheque, and vintage envelope that's got like a green tone to it to match in with the papers. So they all fit nicely in that pocket there. That says September 1959, and the ticket there. Christy's digital paper. I printed this off on newspaper paper, which is lovely. It gives it a different feel, and it sounds like newspaper and feels like newspaper, so it's quite thin. And I double-sided that one. This is a business invoice from 1922. It almost looks and feels like onion paper, and it's like very thin. It's like tracing paper. You can see the print come out on the other side. Plenty of room to journal on this one, and I love, this is one of my favourite spreads in the book. I had a book page here. Let me take her off, and it was a full-length, full-size book page, I should say. So here is a, let me take this off. So it was like that, and when I put the tag on her, and then underneath this page had the beautiful peachy pinky ruffle. I was like, oh god, they go lovely together. So what I've done is I've just folded that page so that when she is clipped onto there, she is right next door to that beautiful ruffle, and it just looks gorgeous. Let me pin that back on there with that gold heart paper clip. Look, it's beautiful, isn't it? So we have a tuck now on this side, so it's folded over. So I've just added the small piece of encyclopedia page, A Woman in Her Garden, because Emmeline, you know, she loves gardening. We could make up stories, couldn't we, about her as we go through the book. So yes, I just loved the way that looks, and I've put a button on there, some fabric ruffle, beautiful tag, handmade embossed paper up there. So page, more stenciling, well, the effect of a stencil on the tea stain paper, bit of collaging up with Christy's papers, gold trim here. I like that little touches of gold going throughout. It gives it, like I said, it's got a bit of a regal theme, I think. Some lined paper with lace edging and a pull out here. So this is a piece, a full piece of Christy's paper, and I've just stuck an image on here and collaged up a bit here with a lace tab so that you can pull it out. Here is a pocket, so I've glued around here just to create a pocket, and I've cut out this beautiful image from a book and stuck some of Christy's images that I fussy cut from the paper and made it into a tag. This is very fragile. I think it's part of a cover from an old ledger I have, and it's very, very fragile. You don't need to cut it or anything. As soon as you bend it, fold it, it breaks off. It's quite brittle. So I've stuck a bit of her digitals there just to help reinforce the top part, because that's the bit that's going to be used most by sliding it in and pulling it out. So I just wanted to protect it a bit because it is quite fragile. So she goes in there, and then on this side I have left some tea stain so that it can be written on. So that's that one. Another page from Christy, and I backed it with this one. Beautiful ledger paper I have from my stash, and I've tucked it up here to make a pocket, a little bit of cluster of laces and a gold star. And in this one I have another bus ticket, some embossed handmade paper, it's like a peachy pinky tone, some French book page, and an original vintage school, I think school, because it's addition of decimals, so it's like their maths work on some paper here. So they all go in that little tuck pocket there. Okay, there we go, they go in there. Some smaller pieces of ledger paper which I've staggered and just put fabric tabs on them, and a lace tab on this one. Tea stained grid paper, Christy's digital, double-sided again. That is the same image from the front journaling card, so you can see that's where I've taken that out. Beautiful images, beautiful, and you can see the difference actually, because this is newspaper print, so you can actually see the difference in colour as well. So that's on ordinary printer copy paper, and that is the newspaper print, so you can see that it's slightly darker because the paper has a greyish tone to it. So that's the difference between the newspaper print and normal copy paper. Vintage dictionary page, and another book page which is of a garden from a black and white book. And the garden reminds me of like Emmeline's manor house. Maybe her husband-to-be owns a manor, and that's the garden. And part of the house, the manor, this is the drawing room. Isn't it beautiful? That's from Christy's digitals, which is why I stuck the garden book page on the back, because this is just beautiful inside the manor, and then the garden. So that belongs to the manor. Vintage dictionary page, some more writing space. tea stained grid paper, ledger page, and here we have the ledger page which I tucked up into that little tuck pocket, and we have, I've cut down an image of the castle which is on Christy's digitals and made it into a journaling card, and also added in this piece of vintage ledger, so calligraphy writing there, but I've left this on blank piece for you to journal on, and this side as well. So that folds up there, that's nice, and that goes in there. And then the image of the castle there, I'll clip it back on in a minute, because on this side of the paper clip, I'm just going to show you these heart paper clips. Aren't they gorgeous? They're just so sweet, look at it. There it is. It's beautiful, isn't it? So on this side, some more embossed paper and a vintage tiny playing card. So those are on that side. So they go on there. Just going to pop that back on before these get lost. There we are, they go on there. And on this side, this image is from Christy. This beautiful, it's my favourite image. Beautiful vase of flowers, and the blue's just amazing. And what I've done is I've cut it out and I've glued it onto the back of a vintage envelope here. Left the envelope open, so it's like a secret pocket, just very fragile. I did leave the envelope open, there we go, in there. So secret pocket, and I've just clipped that to that page there. Back side of the digital, plenty of room for writing. This is another image I put on my Instagram, another journaling spot, so that's tea stained paper there, and she's reading. Oh my goodness, beautiful. And I've just accented it with some lace here and gold leaf. Backed her onto some book paper, and behind her is a pocket with a journaling card inside. This is a Prima journaling card, but the tones, the colour tones go perfectly, so I thought I'd include that in there. Close her over like that. These images are just beautiful. So that's Emmeline's best friend, and they like doing reading together and writing poetry. Some lined paper, tea stain paper here with a fabric blue ruffle, and here's another image on with tea stain paper there. Half a page here. This was a full page, but I wanted to have a little peek of the next page, so I halved it, put some lace trim there, because this page, goodness, book page, let me show you the other side. So it is just a vintage book page, and I've stuck on there a cutout from one of Christy's digitals, which I've hand sewn. Can you see the blue thread? I've done a bit of hand sewing and added this gold lacy trim, and a cameo just here which I've stuck on there. That was quite regal to me, so I've put that on there with some tulle and glued it here and along the edge here so that it makes a tuck spot. That's one of Christy's images, a book page, and I've just stuck some blank old vintage paper in there from an invoice book, so that there is some space for writing, and those just all tuck nicely in there. So I wanted to show it off, so I thought, oh, half a page, lace trim, and then you have this one here. And when the pages are quite brittle or thin, I will stabilise them, so I've just added some strips of leftover papers and glued them into this fold part where I know the spine's going to be, and it helps make them more sturdy and more stable, particularly the more fragile pages that you've got in the journals. So back side of that book page, the back side of the business invoice, the onion skin, newspaper print using Christy's digitals both sides, and another pocket here, back side of the music paper, and I have a vintage book page here, and that pretty dancing children, I thought went well with the colour tones. It matches quite nicely, and the daffodil book page and some wallpaper. So they will go in there. Oops, they will go in there. It's because when you do a video, nothing ever works, does it, the way you need it to. And I'll slide that in there because I want the pictures, that picture to be on the front page there. Collaged a little bit of Christy's digitals onto my music page there, and this one is a pull-out journaling card, and that's one of her Christy's printouts, digitals, and I've just put a silver butterfly here and some green applique, collaged it onto book page and music paper and more digital paper here. And this blue that you can see, and you can see the rusty where the hinges were, the staples were, because it's from a book cover, and it's a book cover of Arundel Castle, and this bluey greeny just went perfectly with the kit. So I've used that and turned it into a journaling card. There's a tuck spot here if you want to put anything under there, where I've turned the book page over rather than cut it off. And here is the image, and it's from that woman's encyclopedia. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Gorgeous, gorgeous image. More of that pinky peachy ruffle, another pocket that I've cut using the digitals, and also some of the digitals to make a journaling card, and I have a butterfly stuck on there, and the butterfly just peeks out here, and a doily tuck spot on this page, and I've included a receipt or some sort of digital receipt which I've inked, and also some wallpaper there, and that just goes in there. Let's pop that in there that way round. And then we have some fabric ruffle there, another flip open for some journaling, just again put some ruffles and lace trim there on this image here. Writing space, more writing space, and I've just put a strip of the paper down, torn, and inked it and then stuck it on. Journaling space here, the vintage poem book, lined paper, and another tag here which I've made, that image, and this is now towards the back of the book. There's that image of that beautiful castle that I cut out and made into a journaling card back here somewhere. There it is. And that's from that page. You can see the pages where it's come from. And the very back one of my favourite ones of hers. Isn't that beautiful? It's just gorgeous. This whole page is beautiful. And then there's that lace pocket which goes throughout the front and back cover. And this is also a full size of one of Christy's printouts. And I've just inked it to age it up a bit. And you could journal on that side. And I've also included a French advert which is tea stained, that you can journal on the back, and those will just pop in there like that. So this is Emmeline. I hope you like her. Thank you for watching. I will put all the links below. She is for sale, so if you are at all interested, please get in touch either by commenting below or just find me on Instagram. The links will be below in the description box. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.